My name is Professor, and this is one of my Dittos. Thank you for joining us today. Today, our subject is a little Pokemon. Not that one. Oh, here it is! Flapple! Yes, there is clearly a real Flapple in my hand. Yes. Yes, there is. If we take a quick look at our whiteboard here, you'll notice that there's nothing on it. Don't eat your markers, kids. Alright, so Flapple is the Pokemon that looks something like this. Bear with me here. Okay. Yeah, that looks like Flapple. So Flapple is Pokemon's latest attempt at saying, screw it, this is a Pokemon now. Some other very classic examples would be Suicidal Ball, Living Keychain, and of course, who could forget the infamous Living Ice Cream. But Flapple here gets a pass because he is a worm living out of a apple core. So he's technically a living thing brought together and given sentience in the name of, ooh, new Pokemon. But wait, there's more to Flapple than just that. I'm gonna need you to follow me down here though so we can take a better look at it. Alright, so Flapple, believe it or not, is actually a very, very good Pokemon because he's a dragon type. If we take another quick look at our illustration here, you'll find that the idea of a worm coming out of an apple somehow turning into a dragon, complete and utter bullcrap. That's not gonna stop you from buying a life-size plushie, huh? No, but seriously, the real reason people like Flapple so much is because of his stats. I mean, take a look at those things. That is just stellar. Why, I haven't seen stats this good since never, because they're terrible. But the stats don't make the Pokemon makes the Pokemon. The Pokemon. If I can just... Here, Ditto, I need to violate you for a second. Okay, I'll hold still. And he's fine. To start things off, let's look at Flapple's name. This is not a real word. Flapple? More like, who wrote this? There's some poor unfortunate souls out there who are confused as to how to properly say this word. Allow me to break it down for you so everyone can understand things a little bit better. Fla, right here, that is the first part of the word. I forget what that's called. I think it's the suffix or something. Then you've got pp. Then you've got le. Le. Just like that. Le. Be sure you say it right. Somehow, by the grace of the English language, all three of these different things together make Flapple. And Flapple makes a word that no one should say as often as I have in the last 30 minutes. But Professor, I hear all of you crying in the comments down below. Comment anyway. Well, you haven't taught us anything about this Pokemon yet. And to that, Flapple is as simple as a worm plus an apple. And then somewhere in the middle of this union, somebody added one of these. Sounds like an algebra problem where they just make stuff up and expect you to get the right answer. I hate algebra. The origins of this Pokemon are very, very simple to understand. You see, about 1 million years ago, something Arceus got super drunk. Again. Oh, Ditto, you're right. It wasn't Arceus. It was Hajinki Anime Suzuki. Some dude over at Game Freak was like, you know what? You know what would do it? This will get people to buy our new game right here. This is gonna sell them on it. Perfect. Who doesn't like apples? And then all the poor idiots who are allergic to apples went, where the heck are the Sinnoh remakes? But I know what you're thinking. How does Flapple fit into the universe of Pokemon in the context of the Sword and Shield region, aka Galar? Well, it's quite simple. Apples are actually a very popular piece of produce over in the British Isles. And since Galar is based on the greater British region, we know that they of course had to throw some reference to apples into the Sword and Shield game. Why there isn't a reference to a, I don't know, crisp-themed Pokemon, I will never know. Even so, like I said, apples are a hot commodity over in Britain, and therefore they had to make a Pokemon that resembles an apple but with a worm in it. Because nothing screams Britain like rotting food. Yes, I said that with a straight face. But let's talk about Flapple's wings for a second here. How do they even work? If they are bits of an apple, then they shouldn't be able to carry its weight or keep it levitated as it sits there and flaps around like a Noivern. If those wings aren't part of an apple, then what is the apple-shaped thing that Flapple is coming out of? Why would it disguise itself as an apple? Much less an apple with a worm in it. Is Flapple trying to be thrown out of every home in Galar? Does it want to live in the garbage? I never took a dragon type that wanted to live in the garbage. I never thought that existed before now. Except Goomy. Most Pokemon, like the ice cream cone and the Pokeball and the, keychain and the teapot ones, they're disguised like everyday human objects to trick people. A lot of them even prey on human beings, or they're possessed by the former spirits of human beings. At least that's what the Pokedex says. And we all know Pokedex never lies, not even once. So, like, does this mean that Flapple is trying to get eaten, or is it trying to get thrown out? Or is the apple is it part of Flapple? If that's the case, then the apple part of Flapple is made of flesh, not apple. Hold on a second. Flapple. 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 Flapple is a flesh apple. And when it gets all big and Dynamaxy, it's an even bigger Flapple. But what do worms do to apples? Oh no. If you've got a worm and there's an apple, the worm eats the apple. It's very nom nom, and it eats it from the backside. Just like that. So the apple is the real victim here. It's not a flesh apple. It's murder. So what happens when a Flapple outgrows its apple? If it's not really part of the Pokemon, which we've established clearly that it is not. It is just a helpless apple being murdered and consumed by the worm that is Flapple. I wonder if it's kind of like sea creatures. What are they? Crabs! Thank you, Ditto. Crabs. Is it crabs? Crabs do shed their shell. No, it's like a lobster or something like that. It's something that wears a shell, and once it outgrows said shell, it moves on to the next shell. So I'm wondering, hear me out, I'm wondering, does Flapple trade its apple for other apples? And if so, are the apples hollow? I assume that they are, but if they aren't hollow, how does it stay airborne for so long? If you look at its sprite, it's constantly sitting there flapping away, then, like, how does it work? Let's just take a step back here for a second, shall we? The only place you can really find a Flapple in the wild is close to a fruit tree, or in the tall grass. So what fruit grows in the tall grass? Here's what I'm wondering though. Are there other kinds of Flapple out there? Florange? Flakiwi? Flagrape? Somewhere in some distant part of the world of Pokemon, are there watermelons? The world may never know. Even so, I hope you guys have enjoyed watching. Please leave a comment on this video. I don't care what it's about. Just comment something random. And be sure to like and subscribe as well for more Pokemon reviews where we take a deep dive into all our favorite monsters. Thank you all very much for joining me. My name's Professor. This is one of my Dittos. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.